Carrot and cumin soup, nice way to utilise carrots in season, especially this time of the year where they're in abundance. Let's take a look at some of our ingredients we're going to be using today. So we've got some nice white of leek in there, again lovely sweet flavour. We've got some actual white onion for this recipe. Of course we've got the crucial carrots, which again we've peeled and roughly chopped. With some nice celery there for some nice savouriness in the soup. We've got a touch of flour, which we're going to be using a pinch of, a little touch of butter, and of course we've got the special ingredients, which is the cumin, which is really going to bring out those lovely kind of sweetness flavours that are in that soup, with the carrots especially. And of course it's something just a little bit different to put in your soup from, you know, the likes of coriander or such likes. So to start the process, I need a little touch of oil in a nicely warmed pan. So I'm going to take a nice neutral oil like some sunflower or some vegetable oil. I'm going to take my butter, unsalted, and we're going to pop that into the pan. And we're going to bring this up to a nice even foam. We don't want the butter to burn, we just want it to come up to temperature in the pan where it starts to foam nicely. And of course, the important thing with butter is that we don't burn it whenever we're cooking with it. It's just in there to really enrich all the flavours and bring it all out. So we're going to start by sweating off some of our vegetables, namely our celery, our carrots, our onion and our leek. So we're going to pop them straight into a nice warm pan. And at this stage we're really releasing all the flavours that are going to come out in that soup, really extracting that sweetness, because as we sweat them off we're reducing the water that's in the vegetable, and of course we're getting to all the sugar that's in those leeks and especially those carrots, and really hyphenating the flavours later on. So while they're just sweating away nicely, we're going to move on and we're just going to quickly have a look at the garlic that we're going to add into the soup when the vegetables are ready. So with the garlic we're going to add into the vegetables once it's sweated off. For a recipe like this, you know, with the soup's going to be pulverised down to a puree, we don't need to waste our time finely chopping that garlic. And again, you know, we want those flavours to very slowly absorb through the cooking process. So all I like to do with the garlic at this stage is just take my whole peel clove, the back of my knife, and just give it a quick dunt on the chopping board. And that always bruises and bashes some of that flavour out, so that when we put it into the soup, we're going to get that slow kind of emulsification of the flavour going through the soup. And then we're going to pop our garlic into the sweated vegetables. And again, just sweat that garlic off just for a second before we add our flour and our cumin. So of course a lot of people are kind of perturbed by using garlic in their food. You know, with this soup I keep describing it as being a tremendously sweet soup, but with the garlic in there it really is going to help bring it back to a kind of savoury note for us. So that's the kind of main emphasis of putting garlic in this soup. So our vegetables now, they're nice and soft, starting to come down. Last two ingredients, pinch of flour, and all the flour is going to do for us is just absorb any of the excess fat that's in there from the butter and the oil, and just help stop it forming a film on top of the soup for us. And we're going to get that cumin into the pan as well at this stage, just for a second, just to start releasing some of the natural oils and flavours that's in that cumin. And as soon as you add that cumin, you get this wonderful burst of flavour that comes off the pan. And then once we've stirred all the cumin and flour through the vegetables, we can add our vegetable stock, and you could use chicken stock. I prefer vegetable stock. You know, it's a safer option, especially if you're cooking for people coming around in case any vegetarians turn up last minute unannounced. And all we're going to do to this soup now is we're going to have a quick taste, check the seasoning, and then we're going to simmer it away for around about 25 minutes, half an hour, until our carrots are all cooked, and then we can pulverise it down to a nice smooth puree again. So a tiny little pinch of salt, a twist of black pepper, a quick stir, and then we'll simmer for 25 minutes to half an hour. Our carrot and cumin soup now has been boiling away for a good 25-30 minutes. We're just going to check our carrots, and we're going to check them with a knife and just make sure the knife goes through nice and tender. As long as the knife goes through, the carrots are ready to go, everything's cooked. So we're going to switch that one off, and we're going to start to get soup into the processor just to blitz it down to a nice fine puree. If I didn't have a food processor at this stage, you could use one of the electric hand blenders as well. If I was using the electric hand blender, I'd probably pass it through a sieve at the end just to get it that little bit finer and smoother. 3/4 fill the food processor. I never fill these up all the way. You fill them up all the way, you're guaranteed to end up with a big mess at the end. pop a lid on. I'm going to pop on the machine. I'm going to switch her on. There we go. There we go, we've got a nice, smooth, pureed soup. Ready to go. And just to serve, I take some fresh coriander and just finely chop that coriander and just sprinkle over the soup for the last minute freshness of flavour. And there we go, our carrot and cumin soup, just finished with a nice bit of fresh coriander there.